Welcome back. This is our second to last week of our ranking series of ranking every single one of our chicken breeds. So thanks for coming back, and let's get into it. Okay, before I talk about which breed we are doing today and which chicken we're doing today, I want to give a little refresher for everyone. And if you're new here, just tell you how we do the ranking for every single breed. So we rank based on 4 different categories. The first of which is eggs. So that's everything to do with eggs as far as egg quantity, egg size, uniformity, things like that. Anything to do with eggs, first category. Second category is broodiness. So how often is the chicken going to stop laying and in turn want to sit on eggs in order to hatch them out and be broody. So that's broodiness. And then the third category is friendliness. So that's friendliness with humans. How willing are they to get near us, eat out of our hand, let us pet them, jump up on us, whether we're sitting down or standing up on our shoulder, on our legs, whatever, come up to us, say hi to us, things like that. And then also with the flock. So if you've seen our videos, you know we have a very diverse flock, or just looking around, you can see we have a very diverse flock of different shapes, sizes, personalities. So how well do they get along with everyone in the flock is also factored into the total category of friendliness. And then the fourth one is kind of a catch-all fun category. We call it cuteness. And that's basically how cute is the chicken. Do they look cute? Do they act cute? And then also anything else unique about the chicken that we want to throw in there and also include in the ranking. So you give an overall comprehensive view of the chicken and how it fits in. So all 4 of those categories are out of 5, added up to a total score of 20. And then with that total score of 20, it gives us an even playing field to be able to rank all of the girls and weigh them out for everybody that we've ranked and everybody that we're going to continue to rank. So without further ado, this week's chicken is Sweet Potato, the Jubilee Orpington. If you're familiar with chickens, you've probably heard of Orpingtons before, most likely the buff Orpington. So buff, just like Jubilee, is the coloration of the chicken. So buff Orpingtons are those common tan chickens that you'll see a lot, whether in farm stores or hatcheries or in somebody's backyard. They're very common, and the Jubilee is a little bit more of a rare coloration, which you'll see. She looks a lot like a speckled Sussex as far as has that nice dark reddish brown underneath with kind of a black stripe and then the white tip on each feather. So very similar to the speckled Sussex if you've seen our other video, or if you've raised speckled Sussex before. The difference being, and the reason we can tell them apart easier, is that the Orpingtons tend to have more of a full body. So you'll see she's kind of thicker and rounder and fluffier than our speckled Sussex is. And the Orpington itself is an English breed, so they originated in England and then were brought over to America. And since then, they kind of come in 2 different strains. You'll have more of your American strain that is bred to be a little bit taller, a little bit less fluffy, a little bit more leggy. And then you'll have your English strain, which is still like very compact, really floofy, almost so floofy that you can hardly see their legs, which Sweet Potato here is actually part of the English strain. You can see exactly how fluffy she is. You barely see her feet underneath all that fluff. Super full-bodied, low to the ground, dense looking bird with all those feathers. And Sweet Potato, the Jubilee coloration that she has is pretty rare, but like I mentioned earlier, there's buff Orpingtons, which are very common in a lot of different places, and then pretty much any other color combination of Orpington, or any color combination that a chicken can be, the Orpingtons also can be, and people have bred them. And you're starting to see the Jubilee be a little bit more popular and show up at different hatcheries, and like we got ours at Meyer Hatchery, where we get all our birds, and they have the Jubilee and that Sweet Potato is. So that's a little bit of the Orpington breed. Other characteristics are that, like for the buff Orpington, people say it's like the golden retriever of the chicken world. They're known to be super friendly, super calm, and easygoing. which is why a lot of people have Orpingtons. And if you've ever gotten to chickens, you likely was one of your first chickens. For most people, usually it's the big three of, in America at least, of the Buff Orpington, Rhode Island Red, and Barred Rock. Typically is people have those or some combination of those as their first chickens, as they're super easy to find and super common in America. So that is a little bit about the breed itself. And then, so let's talk a little bit about all of our rankings. All right, the first category is eggs. And for sweet potato, this is going to be a little bit of a hard category. When I first started this series, I thought it was going to go on so long that we'd have a little bit more information on some of these newer girls, because sweet potato is the last of our earliest batch, or our latest batch, should say, that we got in April of 2025. So she's pretty young. She's around 9 months old still. And I thought by the time I get through to this point in the series that it would be long enough to have enough information on these younger ones of laying. However, it's been a pretty brutal winter here. Very cold, a lot of snow, and of course low lights. We live pretty far north, so in the peak of winter, the light didn't even last till 4 p.m. You know, it's getting dark before then, so it's very short days, and in those times, it's hard for chickens to lay. So sweet potato in particular, she hasn't laid yet at all, which is pretty common for larger body breeds. So I mentioned earlier that the Orpingtons, specifically English Orpingtons, are very thick, full-bodied, big, fluffy girls. And since they are so big and full-bodied and fluffy, it takes them a little bit longer to mature. They're a bigger bird, so it'll take a little bit longer until they do start laying compared to smaller breeds, or like bantams, or I don't know, what is the smaller one we got here? Like kind of some of like our olive eggers or eggers. They lay hybrids. They lay a bit earlier than some of the bigger heritage style breeds. So it's not unusual that she hasn't laid at 9 months old, especially since we're in the winter when she probably would be coming around to laying. I have noticed that she's getting a little bit redder as these days are getting a little bit longer, and we're having some girls start laying again. So she probably will start laying in the next couple months here, and then maybe I'll have an update. But since she hasn't laid at all, I can't in fairness give her a complete rating, so I'm gonna split her right down the middle. We usually rank on a scale of like 1 to 5, so 3 being right in the middle. She hasn't laid yet, totally normal. When she does lay, she should lay a tan egg. So in effort of fairness and not completely tank her score, we'll give her a 3, and then kind of a TBD on how her production actually looks. So 3 out of 5 for eggs. And then along the lines there for broodiness is 2. She's pretty young, like I said, but never been broody, never had any instinct to be broody yet. So quick, short, and sweet. 1 out of 5 there for broodiness for her. Now, I will note that typically Orpingtons, it's kind of individual for each bird, but a lot of people do have Orpingtons that do go broody. So it is not uncommon for them to be broody, but she has not yet. And then for friendliness, she is a huge girl, as you can see, but she's super duper mellow. So she does get picked on a little bit because she is so mellow. However, she is huge, so she has that going for her and kind of that advantage for her. And you'll see there's speckled Sussex. You can see almost look identical, except for sweet potato here is very full-bodied and kind of larger and poofier. And so she is large and does get picked on, but then doesn't get picked on as much as she would because she is so big. But she doesn't throw her weight around. She's super mellow, easygoing, which is common with the Orpington breed, so we're really happy with that. And then as she is aged as well, I've noticed that she has gotten even more calm. When she's younger, she's a little bit flighty as a chick, which I thought was surprising. This is my first Orpington, so I got her thinking that she's going to be super friendly, but she was probably one of the more skittish ones when she was younger, but as she's aged and gotten closer to laying, she's gotten pretty mellow with us, and then in the flock as well. She never has any issues. She's never going to start any nonsense, partially because she's so big and doesn't have to, but never picks on anybody. So overall with the flock, she's super friendly, kind of chill, doesn't really react much. And then with humans, she's gotten more friendly over time. So definitely not yet, or I will see when she starts laying. Sometimes girls get super friendly when they start laying, but so far Not our most friendly bird that we have, also not our least friendly bird that we have. And then she does get along super well with the flock. So I'm going to give her a score of 4 for right now of how her personality has developed and how she is currently right now. So 4 out of 5 for friendliness. And then cuteness. I absolutely love and am a fan, as a lot of people I'm sure are, of big, floofy booty girls. Like, she has one of the floofiest booties in our flock and is absolutely stunning. That coloration is gorgeous. Like I said, it's very similar to a speckled Sussex, but I think that she actually has, compared to the ones speckled Sussex that we have, I think she actually does have more of an even coloration. You'll see that every single one of her feathers individually has that black line and then white tip. It's very uniform, beautiful. Even the floof back here, you'll see has that white tip on it and the black line, which is a lot more uniform than our speckled Sussex. A lot more full-bodied, gorgeous, stunning. She keeps getting bigger and floofier every day, which is cute. She has a really cute little face. She's been very sweet as she's aging. You'll see, like, her doing stuff like this is hilarious to watch, because our smaller body girls just hop up and fly up there, but she's super big and still makes her way all the way from the ground all the way up there, even though she's huge. And it is super cute and funny to see this massive girl. You'll see if she, I keep pulling the camera down, but you'll see if she will settle down and completely hide her feet and just see this massive girl all the way up there. Super adorable. This is pretty much, that spot is where I pull her down every night to go into this coop, since these girls like to roost up here until I come and get them. But she'll ride on my hand every night, which is hilarious because she's massive. I keep saying it, but she's probably at least 8 pounds, and I have to go every night from, you know, carrying girls like Inez right here, the Declay Bantam, into the coop, and then coming back for the next girl, and then carrying kind of a mid-sized girl like one of the Hootens, like Tater or Tot right there. And then I come and carry Sweet Potato, and it is hilarious to feel the difference between, like, that little girl Inez, she just literally rides on my finger, to then I almost have to two-hand Sweet Potato because she's so big. But she just rides, gets carried to the coop, doesn't even flap her wings. I have some of the girls that'll flap their wings trying to get their balance and like kind of freaking out, even though we do it every night. Sweet Potato, right on my hand, carries over to the coop, no issues. Super, super sweet there and super cute with that. So I think overall, like I said, that floofy booty, that body size, full body size, beautiful coloration on her body, super uniform, super cute little face. I mean, look at her. And then her willingness to just hang out, ride with us, even though she's massive, and jump all the way up here. Super adorable. So I couldn't ask for more. I think she is great, and I think she's just going to continue to be sweeter every day, because we've already seen it from the time that she was a little baby till now, becoming more and more sweet, and I can only imagine when she starts laying that trend will continue. So I'm going to give her a 4.5. Give her half a point to continue getting sweeter and cuter as she grows up. So let's give her the 4.5 there, room to grow in, and keep being one of the cutest, floofiest in the flock. So overall, that's going to give her a score of this right here on the screen, which for our total rankings puts her right here. And you can see these are all the girls that we've ranked so far. This is our second to last video, so we have one more coming out for the last girl in our flock. So stay tuned for that one. Go back and watch any of these other ones if you're curious why we rank them, what we rank them. Thank you for getting to this point in the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And until next time, from this cute little Sweet Potato herself, stay Pyrfect.